Do you ever feel like the internet hates women? Because it is gnarly out there. The way we speak about women on the internet. Hi, I'm Phoebe.
Hi, I'm Jacque.
And welcome to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Where we ask the questions that everyone's thinking and no one's answering.
You mean to say I told you to get a nap and I knew you should? And then
I hate you now. I hate you.
It's so good. Chani Nicholas is the one. She's the one.
I am on this app and all the tools, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to say I dabble in everything. I don't go hard for anything. You know what I'm saying?
That. Yeah, I love that.
Spiritual. It's like, give me all the tools, right? So,
well, you know what? It's like it is a tool, right? It's like I had a friend describe it to me, and this might be Chinese words too. It's like checking your weather. It's like you and do I bring an umbrella kind of thing. Like that's how they describe astrology, and I think that is like, why wouldn't you want to get the pulse on the thing? Like why and whether or not you believe in things, like I actually feel like it's like kind of irrelevant. Like why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't? I mean, I'm looking in my life for someone to tell me what to do constantly.
Yes.
And so if someone can I use it at the beginning of my week. I told you this. I listen to it.
Yeah.
And then also days of the week. I learned this recently from one of my really good friends is a really incredible tarot reader and astrologist, Clarity Tarot on Instagram. They are like their readings are fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
But they were telling me that days of the week have an assigned planet. So it's like I do things that are like best for those days. Like why wouldn't I? Because I don't know. I need to do I need to do this.
Yes.
What's the ideal day to do it? Like, why wouldn't I like check the weather?
Yes, you check the weather in the same way that I like, as a woman with a uterus.
Yes.
Am like, what's happening in the month?
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's another tool.
Yeah, I don't do certain things on certain days.
Yeah,
i.e., my cancel-a-thon is coming up in a couple of days, and I can't wait. Can't wait to say not going out.
Oh my God. We need to do a whole pod on canceling because I've got some thoughts. Chani.
Yeah. Chani like Annie.
Chani like Annie app. I can't believe you brought this into my life.
I told you.
It's crazy. I did some affirmations this morning
too. Like it's not appy. You know,
it's not appy. It's not scrolly. And then when I think about the labor,
I know,
like
every
the
week,
personal pod for your specific. I'm like, whoa.
I know.
So like, there's like a lot of intentionality in it. I don't know. It's been a very helpful tool.
She just has one other astrologer working with her too. I think it's her and
what?
I believe so. I was looking at like their team or something the other day. Yeah. I mean, I think she has like a bigger team, but I just mean people like looking at charts, etc., writing. No, I know. It's huge. It's a huge amount of work.
Huge amount of work. Anyways, I am changed and I'm so mad about it.
I'm glad you love the Chani app. Haha. And now you'll be less embarrassed when she does come on the pod one day. Yes. And you're like, oh, I don't really know about that. Now you're going to be like, I ride for Chani.
Now I'm going to be like, I'm mad at you because you're telling me all these things that are meant for me. And that means like, I got to work and I don't like it.
I know. That's the thing, right? Like you were born for this. Like this is what's up. We can't avoid. I was saying to Simon last night, this is my eternal desire. I wish to be the funny banker. I pray to be the kooky teacher. You know, I deeply desire to have a and teacher is not fair because I read for teachers, but like I pray to have a boring ass job, nondescript, gray skirt, drive my Toyota Camry to a little box. I've written many a short story on it. Like it sounds delicious to me. I just want my name to be Brittany so bad, and it's not me. It's just not me.
No.
It's not me. That's somebody else's destiny.
Yep.
And I, unfortunately, have a sickness for the stage, and that's why we are here today.
The sickness. Oh, the sickness has been a thing.
Oh,
Tune in to my newsletter next week, as I will be writing about the sickness.
Yes.
What was I going to say? Yes. No, I have this conversation with a friend all the time where I'm like, I love that, like, you are just okay with, like,
I know.
Like, it sounds so condescending and patronizing. It's like, truly, but it really, I really wish that I was like okay with that. Sometimes I really wish I was okay.
We have a sickness. But we know this.
But I can't like, I can't. No, when I think about what my husband does all day, I'm like, no. No.
Nobody applauds when you walk in the room.
No one applauds you when you walk in the room. Nobody tells you how amazing you are every 5 seconds. Like, what are you talking about? You have to sit at the same desk every day? Like, no.
Although, in the same breath, I was having like a bit of a meltdown the time of recording. It's the beginning of retrograde. I think that's probably be coming at the end of it. I was having a like meltdown of many spirals on Friday, the beginning of retrograde. And then I just had this moment of like, look at my goofy ass life. Like, look at the things I am whinging about right now. I'm like, I don't know. I think I texted you. I'm like, what word do I use to describe this thing in this bio for this grant? Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, like dramatizing. I'm like fully aware how dumb it is to be like, yeah, it's so hard to just make whatever I want. Like, I'm fully aware that I sound like a fart. Sound like a fart. But I desire to be a fart. It's what I want in this world. So here we are. Well, I have a doozy of an episode for you today.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go.
So I downloaded TikTok a while ago, and I've talked about this many a time. And the thing that I find truly bizarre, and I don't think it's just TikTok specifically, I just think it's like a distilled piece of the internet where this is happening. The comments on TikToks, the way people talk on TikTok is really foul and insane, like insane. And it's like these...
More so than any other social media?
So this is what I mean. So
okay.
I don't think it's fair to just point to one part of the internet and go, this is where one bad thing is happening, because mean comments on the internet are a thing. But I think it's kind of a culture of the way we talk about people or to people or what we feel is okay. Like, I don't know. Did you ever, I can't remember his name, the guy who like, I missed it, was like he was trying to audition for SNL, and like people just were making fun of him and like called him cringe. Like, he wrote a song and it was like, hey Lauren, like look at me. And so there is this culture, and this is like very different from what I want to talk about. There is this culture of like pointing at people, and I think part of that has to do with seeing mostly strangers on your feed, like. And I've seen this on my personal Instagram, the more their algorithm kind of pushes me to people that don't know me. Like when people don't know you, like they just feel like it's okay to say things. But my question this week is, do you ever feel like the internet hates women? Because it is gnarly out there. The way we speak about women on the internet is horrifying to me. Quite frankly, is that so boring to say? Like, it's terrifying to me in a way that I feel like I've never seen before as a woman on the internet.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you know about
any of this.
It's funny, while I was writing writing and researching this episode, I was like, I actually feel like I don't really know how much of this stuff will have made it to Jacques' eyeballs because you're not on the internet in the same way. And I actually think that makes us great podcasters because not everybody knows everything. And this is what I also think is really crazy about the fucking internet is like, you know, a couple 100,000 million people see a thing and you can talk to your friend about it and they have no idea what you're talking about. And they're on because they're just on a different part of the internet. Like the way in which we view things is so buck wild. It's so buck wild. So have you heard about the Don't Worry Darling drama at all? Do you okay. So I should have written a better summary.
I'm so excited.
Okay. Do you know what's going on with Olivia Wilde?
Oh.
So Olivia Wilde.
So the
Harry
Shia
Styles.
LaBeouf thing?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Shy.
I know. So this isn't even about Shia.
Whatever.
This is about.
Yeah, so Don't Worry, Darling is a movie. This is Can I just tell you what I know?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I know, and then you fill in the blanks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Don't Worry, Darling is a movie starring Harry Styles and what's her face from Midsummer? Florence Pugh.
Flo Pugh. Yeah.
Florence Pugh, directed by Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, you're nailing it.
And the only drama I know is that Olivia Wilde was presenting at some media thing, and that's all I know. And then like something about her husband first, and then second, something about Shia being like, everything that you just told the public is not true. I actually took myself out of the movie. Why are you lying? And then apparently has like receipt texts to like support his argument. That's all I've heard. That's literally all I know is apparently about the men.
That's interesting.
Which is really interesting.
So actually, it's really interesting that you bring that up because, okay, I'm trying to think about this in a way that will still be relevant by the time this comes out because this is the other thing, right?
Oh,
this is the hot topic now. But okay. Yes, so interesting that you only know about the men here. And then also I actually kind of feel like maybe to talk about this, the drama is a bit irrelevant. So there's like a handful of different dramas. So like basically Florence is not doing a lot of promo. There was like some discussion about shit going on the set. Clearly people are not happy. Like this red carpet it was at the Venice Film Festival. Was it? Yeah, it was the Venice Film Festival.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, I only know. It's sticking out in my mind because I was looking at pictures of Harry Styles on a boat. I'm actually also wearing Harry Styles merch today, so I also feel like I am the most qualified person to talk about this because fandoms are toxic. So let me roll it back here. So, yeah, they were at the Venice Film Festival. Florence is not happy. There's like some weird shit going on with the cast. Also Chris Pine and Gemma Chan are there, like professionals, and that guy, a comedian, I can't remember his name. I think he dated Amy Poehler for a while. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
These people are in the film?
Yes. Also, these people are in the film as well.
Great.
And like, which is like kind of sad for them. So anyway.
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde probably is not doing her best work right now. And I think that can be true. But the way the internet girlies, Harry Styles fandom, also her and Harry Styles are dating. Do you know that?
Who's her?
Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles have been dating for like over a year.
Yeah, I do know that. Okay, yes, I did know that.
The way Harry Styles fandom, the way people on the internet, TikTok especially, for what I've seen, talk about Olivia Wilde is disgusting to me. They're comparing her to Amber Heard, which is another disgusting like misogynist conversation.
Yeah.
And the way like, so I think that there's something that kind of happens here where, like, yes, people can be held accountable for their actions, but do we need to wield our internalized misogyny as a weapon to cut them down? Because that is the thing that I feel is at play
women are
here.
held to higher standards, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Like, disgusting. I mean, if you want to talk about female to male directors, like the things male directors get to do and get awards for it are human rights violations.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe her and like date. You want to talk about male directors dating their younger female like cast?
Right.
And so it's like, this is what I mean. I don't want to spend too much time on this actually, because I said, it feels irrelevant. Okay. But it's like, this was the thing that like sparked this question in my mind of like, hold up. The internet hates women and values hating women, and people make money off of hating women. And like, that's the thing that I find scary about this.
Yeah. This this is interesting. It feels like a duh, right? Like, to me, it feels like of course the internet hates women. Like we all hate women. I hate women, right?
Yes.
We've been
I want to talk about that too. I want to talk about that too.
Hate women. So like, duh. But there is this kind of level of like what the internet does, right? Like the internet creates this whole thing where it's like we can be invisible and we can like be saying things and blah, 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 blah. I'm wondering if there's another conversation in here somewhere of like, how brave are we on the internet? And would we say these things? Like, would someone walk up to Olivia Wilde and say the things that they're saying? I don't know what they're saying to Olivia Wilde's face. Probably not, like, and how do we treat each other with this like very artificial thing? And then like into this whole conversation of like what Meta is doing with like building artificial worlds. Like I can't even get into that. Whatever. No. But like, we're very brave on the internet. I mean, brave is not the word. Like, disgusting is the word. Horrible. But like, we're horrible. Horrible. But people will say things on the internet that they won't say across the table to someone. They won't.
Well, here's the thing. And this is why I feel like this, when I say the internet hates women, I think very clearly our mind can jump to like hate crimes.
Right.
Like we can, our brains jump to like the worst case scenario. And what I feel like I'm seeing and experiencing and sitting across from the table from extremely intelligent women that I admire is the most buck wild internalized misogyny and opinions about these. So I have a list of women. I want to read out to you.
Okay, great. Ooh, that like set people on fire. That like list are controversial.
Of women. So I want to preface this. Okay, this list of women is mostly white, and I'll talk about that again in a second. This list of women are all conversations that I have had other women say to me their shit ass opinions about these women.
Yes.
Okay, here's my list. Feel free to add on.
Okay.
Olivia Wilde, Meghan Markle,
Amber
Heard. Meghan, Amber Heard, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kim K. Like women that and these women all hold a lot of privilege, like a lot of privilege. These, like I said, overwhelmingly white, and to some degree, we can hold them accountable for certain actions that I don't think are good.
Yeah,
I don't think are good. Meghan Markle, I'll ride for. So ooh. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know. And here's the thing. Like, here's this thing about this list of women is it actually doesn't even matter what we think of them, because I know that list of women incited a reaction in people listening to this. Like, I know that.
Yes.
And that is the thing that I think is so, and when we do that, we need to point fingers instead of going, what patriarchy lives inside of me that is so triggered by this thing that if I do need to hold somebody accountable for, I need to, I don't know. What are the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp stuff was like, I couldn't believe the obsession.
Wild.
I felt insane.
Oh, I could.
I felt
your own obsession or the internet's obsession?
The internet's obsession. Like, I couldn't believe
that. I can understand it.
And again, intelligent, and maybe that's the thing that I find shocking. It's like I see something on the internet and go, that's fucking nuts. And then, you go to lunch with the girlies and you're like, what the hell's wrong with everyone's broken brains?
Yes. Yes. What the hell is wrong with everyone's broken brains? Yes. And yes. Uh-huh. I think, yeah, I was just talking to Jack about this, not specifically this conversation, but accountability, responsibility.
Yeah.
Is it like your responsibility is to go, why does this piss me off?
Yes.
Why does this set a little thing in me? Why do I feel this in my chest? And examine that and do something about it. That's it. Like, that's your responsibility as a person in the world. So, what are we doing?
And when we say these things, what I think is so, to your point of like, would we say these things in front of people? When we write these comments about Amber Heard being a liar, and I found that really that trial really like triggering and upsetting to be around.
Yes.
And so I don't know a lot about it.
Yes.
But I know that Johnny Depp like assaulted Amber Heard, but the trial, like, he won saying that she couldn't talk about it. Yes. And so when people so whether or not Amber Heard hears that very specific comment, I think is up for negotiation, which is maybe why people say these things. But, young woman facing abuse in her home does see that comment. And the cycle that this perpetuates, whether it's like how we talk about women and what women we talk about and the things, and like I wasn't allowed to do and say certain things because of the people around me's, again, internalized misogyny of like, you don't do that kind of thing. And that's the stuff that I feel like is really okay. I was listening to, do you have anything to say? I'm like talking your ear off.
No, please.
Okay. So I was listening to Maintenance Phase before we started today, and they just did this episode on Goop. And I really liked Michael Hobbs was talking about, the consumers of Goop. And he said, I thought this was really interesting. He was like, women are the middle managers for American oppression, white women specifically, right? Because, white women are both the oppressed and the oppressor. And so the way we get to wield patriarchy is very specific.
Yes.
And I was as I was making that list of like triggering women, I was like, I should diversify it. And then I had the thought of like, well, wait a second. Intersectionality isn't a Venn diagram, right? Like, it isn't additive. I can't possibly talk about patriarchy without talking about racism. And I can't talk about internalized racism or internalized misogyny without talking about like overt racism. And that's the thing, like, and that, when I talk about like the insidious thread of this, it's like a pipeline. It's like a pipeline to each other of like, oh, how I talk about one woman is maybe a bit cutting, but how I talk about another woman, how I talk about a woman of color is going to be harmful. And like, this is the thing where we need to pull ourselves from that doesn't. I don't know. I actually don't know what the answer is even, right? Like, what is, how do we pull ourselves from these things? Because I'm guilty of it. Like, I am guilty of internalized misogyny. I'm guilty of racism because it's like the culture that I grew up in. But where is that line of like pulling yourself out of it and like evolving past it?
There's like an argument. Yeah, like This is going to go so many places.
I know.
So I keep telling Jack that I don't think that conflict is real. Like, and I have this, like, I've read this book, Conflict is Not Abuse. Everyone should read it. I promise I'm going to bring this around. But you being mad or triggered or whatever about somebody else is your problem.
Yeah.
Like, and I,
yeah.
This whole thing of like, okay, because we're also talking about, oh my God, my brain is exploding.
I know. I wrote so many fucking notes today because it's so, like, this is what I mean. I can't talk about one thing without talking about all the things, but we only have this is a 1 hour podcast.
Right. So is it?
Well, and it's also bingo sheet for how many times. This is a whole other thing. This is a separate episode. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, it's all the same fucking thing all the time.
Yeah. So when we talk about like celebrity and privilege, right? There's like this thing about celebrity women where like, and it's even worse for celebrity women of color, but like you have to have like an angle. You have to have a justice cause.
Yes.
You have to represent all women. You have to blah, 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 right? Et cetera, et cetera.
Be relatable.
And you have to be relatable.
Yeah.
Was it Kim Kardashian? Whatever. Okay, so Kim Kardashian.
I think it was Paris Hilton said she didn't want to be relatable.
Be relatable. This is so funny. Okay, so Kim Kardashian comes out with these like diet lollipop things. Do you remember this happened?
No.
Whatever. Okay. Kim K has said a lot of what people would deem as problematic.
Yeah.
Has endorsed a lot of problematic,
totally,
et cetera, stuff about weight loss.
Yeah.
Or being a certain size.
Yeah.
Et cetera, calling it health, whatever we're saying, right? But it's like, I think the argument that has to be looked at here is how much responsibility do we have as consumers, right, of this stuff?
Yeah.
Versus how much responsibility does this woman have?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, if Kim K says, this worked for me to lose this amount of weight, right? And we automatically go and say, well, you have a responsibility to everyone. To all women or whatever, you have a responsibility to not say these things, to not put that out there, even though you're sharing your own experience, right? Like, I don't know if that's fair.
No,
I think it's fair that we say, what is it why is this making me upset?
Yeah.
And what is my responsibility to myself? And like, you know what I'm like, does this make sense?
Yes. Like, and I don't think, like, you know, to your point, you know, maybe like Barbara down the street doesn't have the same influence and, you know, cachet and as much money as Kim Kardashian does. But I sure shit bet that the girlies on Weight Watchers would say the exact same thing. So it's like, do they have a social responsibility to other women to liberate this like that? No, that's a horrible thing to say. And like when I hear diet culture specifically brought up in, you know, there are some friends that will be like, hey buddy, you know, like that gets me. And I would appreciate if you didn't talk about that because it hurts my feelings very specifically. Like, and I can be aware of that. And then there's other people where I'll go, good for you, not for me, and walk away from that interaction.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'm getting a cup of coffee right now. And so I think yes, you're totally right. You're totally right. Where it's like
here's the thing. What I'm saying is, sorry.
No, what you're trying to say about conflict. What you're saying, what you're trying to say about conflict. Yeah,
That's
I totally get
saying.
It. Yes.
It's like, I don't know if we're ever in conflict with someone else. I think we are only ever in conflict with ourselves. And I hate that. But I think it's very true.
Yes.
Or I'm finding it to be more true, I should say, because nothing is definitive. I'm finding it to be more true in my life and things that I'm pointing out. And I just think it's like, when we talk about, because I've been that person that's like, how dare this influencer say this that has 2 million followers? They have a responsibility to blah, 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 blah. And it's like, A, do they have a responsibility?
Mm-hmm.
But B, like, what did anyone, like, I don't know, did we ask them to define culture?
Well, like, but we hold these women celebrities to a higher standard than like fucking politicians.
Of course.
Like,
yes. It's I don't know, it's so sticky.
So backwards.
Yeah. It's hard because it's like, yes, I can understand. I can understand all eyes glued on Kim K. Therefore, I get it. But then it's like, okay, can we just like move our eyes?
What if we move our eyes? Yeah.
What if we move our eyes? Then we're no longer participating in this thing that like we get something out of. Which is like sickening.
Yeah. And like I wrote in my notes today, like the inspiration for this episode is like, I've been in content vulture mode. Like I've been like, eat it up, baby. I love the amount of TikToks about this Don't Worry, Darling drama. I've just, I'm there.
Yeah.
I subscribed to Disney Plus to watch the new Kardashian show. Like I am on these eyeballs. I am the eyeballs I speak of. And also I go, that shit's whack.
Exactly.
And that's where it ends. And like, and I interrogate that. And like, oh, was I telling you this? Who was I listening to? I think it was Chelsea Handler was talking on a podcast. She was talking about Kim Kardashian. Is that who it was? Oh, I can't remember. Content vulture brain.
Was it Simone?
Yes, it was Simone. Yes, it was Simone. Okay. Yeah. I watched the Kardashian show. You and I have had many a conversation, but like, I actually think she's kind of right. Like, I kind of think she's got some points.
Yes.
I think the whole family
feel so like you like feel so on the outskirts, right? Yeah. When you're like, I don't hate watch them. Like I don't at all. Like I literally don't watch the Kardashians, but I kind of don't think that's what they're saying. Like when people are on their like on their whole like let us burn it down thing. I don't know. Anyways, go ahead.
But I'm listening to Simone Grace So also another do you ever feel like bingo card to add to the list.
I know. Just reference.
She's talking about how much she loves. She's a rich, like woman, powerful coach woman, and she's talking about. And she's like very honest about that, and she's talking about how much she loves Kim Kardashian, and I am like got hot feelings about it. I'm like, I am not enjoying this. I'm like cleaning my house, getting all pissed off. Yeah. Why? And has nothing to do with Kim Kardashian, has nothing to do with Simone, has everything to do with like my hot feelings about whatever the situation is, because I'm cleaning my house and I'm not getting a massage or whatever right now, or like I'm not like living it up in a penthouse. And I can be like, can we be honest enough that like we'd all like to be sitting in the penthouse? You know what I mean? Instead of like this, like, yes, all things can be, I think what I'm kind of like going for here is like all things can be true at once. Like, yes. And can we hold those feelings at the exact same time? The exact same time, not one or the other, moment to moment, together.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of work.
Oh, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I think that that's the responsibility of being an adult. Like, I just think that that's what it is. I was listening to Brene Brown's Atlas, or watching Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart on HBO Max. Highly suggest. And she asked a question to the folks she was talking to. She says, who is over the shock, like, activism or something, or calls it like shock, like who is over being on the internet and seeing everybody else angry about something, essentially this idea, right? Like who is over this? And everyone's hand went up, and over the like And so I think there's something about this that it's like, it's all about like feeling like we're good, feeling like we're good people, we're moral people, feeling like we're doing enough, you know what I mean, to be outraged and shocked at all of the like horribleness in the world. You know what I mean?
Well, and because I'm only good if somebody else is bad, right?
Exactly.
I can only be good if I say what is bad.
Exactly. And I think it like relates. Okay, so here's a good example of this. Not a woman, which we cut this out if you want. But Jack and I, my husband and I are making our playlist for our wedding party, and MJ comes up, and I'm like, obviously we have to have MJ, and Jack is like, do we have to have MJ? And I was like, no, it like. This is the crux of what we're saying. Like, this is is it our responsibility that MJ did that?
But no. I was in, so this is an interesting one. I was in a Pilates class once, and Michael Jackson came on, and 2 people got up and left.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying.
2 people got up and left. And I think that's okay. Like, if you want to get up and leave, that's okay.
Like, this is the dilemma. This is what I'm talking about. The idea that this is going to be a group of people. Like, what is our responsibility? Is our responsibility to make sure that nobody feels triggered by the fact that we chose to put on a Michael Jackson song? Or is our responsibility to examine that in our own way, figure out our own feelings about it, figure out our own responsibilities, figure out how we're doing, and play the song if we want to have fun anyways. Like, which,
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
This really is a whole ass other episode, because I have the list of, directors that I love, have made movies and art in general. Have we talked about this on the podcast?
We have. Not on the podcast. I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast yet.
But yes. But I have this list. And they have done. And what I think is different here, and I do feel like this is important. Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson has done evil.
Yes.
Evil things.
Yes.
Horrible things.
Yes.
Gwyneth Paltrow, I don't actually think she's that bad of a person. Like, I don't think what she's up to is so deeply insidious and requires, I don't even want to talk about Michael Jackson anymore. I don't know. I think that's the difference here. And so like this maybe that's where we can draw a line, actually. Maybe this is where the episode starts into another episode. But like that's the thing that I think is actually really important when we talk about these women. Like, I don't think Meghan Markle is a bad person. I think she inspires a lot of feelings in people. I don't think she's out to do anything horrific. And why? And to your point, why do we lump Kim Kardashian and like all these women, and I'm just using this list of women that we have in front of us, in with like, why are we going to put Olivia Wilde and Roman Polanski in the same category? That feels weird to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the amount of outrage of this decision to play MJ or not. You know what I'm saying? Is that really the equivalent? Like, I don't know. Like, but it's so interesting what you were saying about the politicians. It's like, let's elect another warlord. Like, let's bring them all in. But like, you're gonna be mad at Gwyneth Paltrow for saying that she's trying to have like what the fuck was the term? Basically a kind divorce.
Oh, conscious uncoupling? Yeah.
Yes. Basically,
you bet your ass if I separate from Simon, I'm 1000% Googling conscious uncoupling. Like,
of course.
5,000% that's the path I am taking. And that pisses people off, because you want to know why that bugs people? It's because people unconsciously get together and break up.
Just consume, like, live their lives. That's really, I think, what it is. It's like these women go like, no, I'm going to live the truth that I need to live. No, I'm going to whatever. And that pisses you off because you're not. Because you're not.
Okay, kind of
This has gone everywhere.
Okay, this is why the notes section is big.
We need
I
to
did
bring it
research
around
today. and I recognize that. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate that, and I think this is why we can never, not never, I don't want to say never. This is why this is hard. And like this is why people point fingers, you know what I mean? Cuz it gets you all, it activates your nervous system, but I do it's just I'll go back to that. I think it's like, if we can wield, okay, this is a good segue. We wield these weapons that were given to us.
Yeah.
Like, of course. So I wanted to ask you about your own internalized misogyny.
Great. Let's do it.
A nice
we were just talking about this. We were just talking about this because I was texting you about Meghan Markle, and I had all kinds of fucking shit to say about Meghan Markle's podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, duh. This is where this is all coming from, because I hate women.
Yeah. Yeah. And I okay, Meghan Markle, I actually would love to do just an episode about Meghan Markle, because her intersections,
there's so much.
We've never seen another. There's never been a Meghan Markle ever. She just had, was it The Cut? She just had an interview come out in The Cut, and people are culture writers, people I really respect, are really digging at her, and I just kind of go this woman is a victim of a human rights violation on many levels. What that family has done to her. Anyway, but that pisses people off.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about internalized misogyny.
Great.
Your internalized misogyny was coming up thinking about Meghan Markle. I asked the people on our Instagram just this morning. I know.
Oh my God. Oh, Phoebe.
About their own internalized misogyny. And I had a couple really cool ones came up. Okay. I'm going to read these out.
Okay.
Word for word.
Okay.
So I asked the question, when has your own internalized misogyny come up? Actually, I'll share a personal one. I was not calling myself a coach because of internalized misogyny for a real long time. That word to me is how dare I charge for work that has been going on for centuries, always carried out by women, and only ever men have capitalized on,
Yeah.
If I was a man in a all black suit, then, and I called myself a strategist, I don't think I would get the same amount of internal struggle as I would.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah. I have one that's similar to that of for such a long time I've carried a lot of shame around being a nanny.
Yeah.
And that is internalized misogyny. I've carried so much of not wanting to lead with that in my life, or not want to put that at the forefront of oh, this is what I'm doing when I'm not doing all this art stuff. And recently I decided I'm going to call myself a caregiver out in the world, because that's what I'm doing. And I, just like anyone else doing any labor, I'm entitled to a title, entitled to owning that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I had my own ideas about
titles. Are an interesting one.
Titles are interesting. What it means to be taking care of babies.
Yeah.
And I, for a reason, rejected that part of my life in my other work because of internalized misogyny. Yeah. Because I have things in me that have opinions about women who take care of kids.
Of course you do. We grew up in a society. What's his name? George is yelling in my head.
Yes. Yes.
I live in a society that values those things. And then once again, values women that will cut down other women, right? we'll talk about pick me girls in a second. Okay, so here's the question I asked.
Okay.
When has your own internalized misogyny come up? Times in my life where a new man doesn't want to have sex with me, assumed gay or sleeping with others instead of not ready yet or not interested. To be fair, both times have been true. Both points have been true at different points, but I don't like that they're not allowed to not want to. Yeah. Here's another one. Working in a male-dominated profession happens to me daily, but also helps me confront it within myself in places I may not have noticed it before. When someone says boss or doctor, I always ask, who is he or what did he do, assuming they are men. So wild. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about, like basic, and like I said, we'll talk about like pick me girls and stuff like that. But our mind jumps to the black and white version of these things. And I think the thread that I am curious about is the gray area. Is this like day to day? I mean, for me, another one I see a lot is in motherhood and like that decision. And I look around at women walking around with their babies and I go, are you all right? Like, did you make that choice for real? And is that fulfilling to you? Because to me, for many a reason, sounds boring as shit. But my crap for me, I look at that and go like, that looks boring. Oh, why would you ever do that?
Yeah. And the question of like, did you choose this? Is this really making you happy? Internalized misogyny.
Yes, 100%. Like 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this.
Like that's what you're saying, right? You're saying like you looking at that and finding it boring is internalized misogyny. For sure.
For certain, a piece of it is. For certain. I think also I just am not that interested in babies.
I mean, yes, fine.
But a huge
there's a judgment there.
Yeah, the judgment is that. The judgment very specifically is that. And whether or not those things are true is like also kind of none of my business. Okay, so I want to talk about pick me girls. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's like the new not like other girls.
What is not like other girls?
I'm not like other girls. When we were growing up, they're like, I'm not like other girls. I don't like drama. I'm not like other girls. I just don't wear makeup. What was that Taylor Swift song? She wears short skirts. I wear t-shirts. That shit.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
So like the pick me girl is very. They're not like other girls. Okay. They don't fit in. They're other. Pick me girls very specifically are saying pick me over other women, men. Men, please pick me over other women.
Okay.
And I find this level like, and this is the internalized misogyny internet pipeline that I see, where it's like
this is like a trend on the internet.
This is a thing on the internet.
Yes, okay. Wow. Okay.
Whether or not, I guess whether or not they know it is the question. What I see is like this, calling Amber Heard a whatever you want, saying Harry Styles, a grown ass man, is being coerced into a relationship with, I think she's like in her mid 30s or something like that with Olivia Wilde. Like,
Olivia Wilde's definitely 40 something years old. She has 2 children.
It doesn't, whatever. It's like,
whatever. It doesn't matter.
Like,
who cares? Adult people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Adult people, like grown ass adult people. Yeah. I'm just trying to illustrate. I don't find their age difference to be that weird or anything
Who the fuck
like that.
cares?
Like it's not. It's not a predatory relationship. I think we can agree on that. Oh, I'm getting all hot again. I get all hot again when I talk about this stuff. It's so fucking hard. The pipeline of like Amber Heard, like mean comments about Amber Heard and Olivia Wilde, to like men's rights activist on the internet, I think is a fucking thing. And like the pick me girl genre of like, I like, I don't know, yes, women, you should do it all kind of thing. Like be a good wifey, be a good woman, like cook, clean, look hot doing it is part of this like package that I don't really know if I don't think people who are like giving Amber Heard a hard time at lunch would
understand the connection to this.
Would recognize that they are playing the exact same role. Like it is the same function in this machine. Yes, one is maybe a little bit more horrendous than the other, but they are friends. They are friends. Okay, so I want to read you this really interesting quote by Tracy Moore. And what I kind of feel like, you know, when I talk about like wielding this like tool of patriarchy, is really it. Okay. The difference is they don't take it out on anyone. They just turn toxic feelings in on themselves. Because women generally lack the power to coerce men in relationships at will, the privilege to expect to the same degree, and are generally inclined to internalize self-loathing for their shortcomings. It's just less likely to manifest in violent demands, gross, oblivious sexual entitlement, or any kind of intimidation or clueless pestering that makes women actually fear for their bodily autonomy and lives. Fucking patriarchy. How do we wrap this up? I feel like I've just brought you like a big list of things I've seen.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I guess the question is, do you ever feel like the internet hates women? Yes, but I think like we hate women.
Well, yes.
We hate what I mean when I say so horribly.
Much. In the beginning of this, like this feels like a duh because we all hate women, but like maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not a duh, actually.
Maybe it's not a duh.
Maybe it's not a duh, because I think the same women that would maybe wear a glittery feminist shirt are making these TikToks about how Olivia Wilde is a horrible person for whatever the fuck. For you know, not for playing the horrible game that is Hollywood, you know?
Yeah. That's something that I always find so interesting about people's perceptions of celebrities in Hollywood is like I don't think people understand. Like, this is a very general statement, but I don't think that people understand what it means to be that famous or what it means to like even down to like the statistics of who gets to be in the position of an Olivia Wilde.
Yes.
When there are so many. Viola Davis has this great point in her book about breaking down how many actors actually get paid every year to have healthcare versus how many actually get into these roles, and then how many actually get Oscars, and then how like whatever
lottery.
Right? So much. And then I'm like, do you think it's just like it feels wild to me to have these opinions because it's like, do you think these people live like you? Like, I think that this might be an unpopular rant, but I think that is a little bit.
No, they live in a full-on different universe. They live in a full-on different universe, and I think it's so insane.
They don't live in the world you live in. They live in a totally different universe. And I'm sorry, but they have teams of people. They have people telling them what to say, not say, how to act, not act, how to, but like, it's not what you're looking at to begin with is a picture of a picture of a picture of a picture. You know, it's not real. So it's like this idea that you can then judge it as such, judge it as like what you're around your own everyday 9 to 5 paying your taxes like moral compass is absurd to me. Like it doesn't. Am I making sense?
100%.
Like
I think
it's just wild.
I think the question to close us out here is something along the lines of like, how do we recognize this in ourselves, and how do we actually reconcile it? Because to sling these things around, like we've both just admitted, I do constantly. I do every single day when I walk my dog. I do every single day when I walk my dog. I do every single day when I'm making a decision for myself. Holy shit. Like, how will this come off? A lot of the guilt. Okay, we're just going to this is my confession hour. My boyfriend mostly does the dishes, and that makes me want to spiral into oblivion because I'm a bad girly. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this competition of women in the who can be the best one? Like there's some sort of ultimate winner at the end of this.
Ultimate winner of oppression.
Oh God. Yes. It's like
yeah.
Pull yourself up by the bootstraps type of gamification of patriarchy. Ugh.
Yeah.
I heard the word empathy the other day. So sorry, men, that you have to deal with women. Empathy.
Okay, you need to get off the internet right
now. No, because it's also in the world. It's not on the internet. It's not on the internet. No.
I'm not saying you plural. I'm not making a judgment around everybody being on the internet and whether or not TikTok or social media or Instagram is okay in this current state and blah, 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 blah. I am saying Phoebe Taylor, take a fucking break.
No, you're not going to like the word. This is from an academic paper. Empathy is from an academic paper. You're not going to. I just let you yell at me knowing what the little. Yeah, this is not okay. I should clarify this word. This word is being used as women who are giving men empathy for the existence of women, like women as men's rights activists. It's just a jokey word. It's okay. It's okay. You know,
I was just like, no, take it all away. I just had such an extreme reaction.
I know.
Wild.
Of course you did, though. Of course you did.
Yeah. Men's rights activists.
I know. Kill me. Actually, for real. I know. Okay. Actually, we didn't talk about this, and this is I'll slide this in quickly. Part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this and why I kind of feel so shocked by it is my bubble. I don't experience this. I mean, I'm a woman in the world. Yes, I've experienced misogyny, but also I work for myself. I mostly only work with other women. That is the majority of the people I work with. If I am talking to not a woman, they are a non-binary person. Yeah. And we've just discussed, not anyone's exempt from these things, but the function is quite different. And when I go get a coffee, I leave. And if my boyfriend says whack ass shit to me, I tell him to fuck off. I have a lot of privilege and not having to deal with. I have a lot of privilege in general. I get to be pissed off about these things, and they don't. When I get to look at them for the most part, I see it. I don't. I mean, I've worked in a corporate setting before.
Yeah,
that's hell.
Yeah,
that's hell.
Yeah. You have a very specific lens of evaluation and criticism around this because it's not impacting your daily life that much.
Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. And I think that's kind of what looking at when I pick up my phone and you're yelling at me to get off the internet. I'm very intentional with my time on the internet.
Oh, I know.
And and I think that's what kind of allows me to look at it. I really do see myself as I'm I fully disassociate when I'm on my phone.
Yes.
Enough that I can look above myself and see what's happening. Notice what is happening when you consume these things. And maybe, in this question of how do we end our own internalized shit is the noticing. Because I said, I love Harry Styles. I've been loving Harry Styles for a long ass time. I don't need to shit on whoever he's fucking. Like, that's, as far as I'm concerned, he's not a person.
I see that dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
dude.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying.
Olivia Wilde goes to Harry Styles concerts and like dances in like at the side, and people post videos of it saying like she's faking it. Like, oh, this is just a PR relationship. It's like, even if it's all fake, it's all a performance. Like, so is you being there. So is everything a simulation. Like, give me a break.
Also, this is what I mean when I say like 15. It's a picture of a picture of a picture of a picture. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you, what? Like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're 15 and it's like, why don't, honey, you look at why you're sad and like why you like, you know, mom and dad are fighting. Like, maybe look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Get off the internet.
Get off the internet. 15-year-olds need to get off the internet.
Yeah, that's interesting.
This was like the internet reporting hour. I feel like a
Ding.
You know, from the field. Live from the field.
Live from the field. These are my findings. This is my assessment.
Of
how women are being treated on the internet. It's not an obvious thing.
It's not. It's actually not duh. It's not duh.
No,
it's not duh.
Really, it's not.
Oh, which is so fucking horrifying. That's terrifying.
I mean, you had to say it to me when I was like, I don't know about Meghan Markle's podcast. I don't know. And you were like, Well,
actually,
like, right.
What you had said, not to
or did I say it? I don't know if I said it.
You had said, it feels very produced to me. And I said, of course it fucking is.
Yes.
What the fuck else are we going to get? Also, this podcast you're listening to is produced. Like, it gets edited. I don't say all the things that I would say if we were sitting. Like, and that, I guess is what you're saying. A picture of a picture of a picture. It's like a fucking course.
Yes, of course it is. And it's like, of course it is. And also, like, it's your shit that, like, it's your stuff that is pissed off by that. Like, it's your thing. And again, it's like, would you say that about a man? A man's podcast, a male's podcast, or whatever. Like, if Harry had a podcast in the same regard, would I be saying that? No. It's like, I hold women to like being the truth tellers, the you know what I mean? Like, the ones that are like, I have an idea of like a woman's quote unquote responsibility in these particular lanes. And that in itself, internalized misogyny.
I think another question to leave us with is like, and I think about this a lot, is, you know, the bar is so high for women, the bar is so low for men. Do I want the bar to be like, do I want the men's bar to be the same height as the women's bar? Do both need to be adjusted? Like, I that is something I think about a lot. Like, sometimes I go like, yeah, men should I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I think about it a lot, especially when we talk about this, you know, artist, the creation of things as well. So anyway, do you ever feel like this is a huge mess?
Yes, I do.
Maybe that's the thing that we can agree on today.
Do you ever feel like this is a huge ass mess? Yes.
Oh dear. Okay.
I think, you know, the call to action might be when something pisses you off.
Yeah.
Like, notice.
Yeah.
Ask and like observe.
For real.
Like, just take a moment to do that. Everyone. All the time.
I did just now.
Maybe not all the time, but everyone.
No, all the time, constantly. Don't stop. Even if you're driving. Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Follow This Chaos wherever you get your podcasts.
Our artwork is by Simon Peng. Do You Ever Feel Like is produced by Jacqueline Wills
and Phoebe Taylor. You can follow us on Instagram at DoYouEverPod.
You can write to us at doyoueverpod@gmail.com. Okay,